So moved. Recognized.
I have an amendment at the desk.
Okay, there's an amendment at the desk. We'll briefly pause while staff distributes the amendment. Okay, the clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 43.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read, and I now recognize the Representative Cisneros for 5 minutes on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank you and the ranking member on the great bipartisan work you've done today on so many of these amendments. My amendment would build on the ability of small businesses and entities to not only report on potentially erroneous and burdensome regulations, but to report rules that help safeguard small business interests and competition. My amendment also expands the hotline to better listen to small business concerns on other government actions that impact them, such as tariffs, healthcare, and immigration enforcement. What I hear the most from small businesses is that they need relief from tariffs and the uncertainty around them. If we truly want to support small businesses, we need to provide them with an avenue to express their grievances and truly hear what they need and to act on it. Some members of this committee plug their ears and close their eyes when tariffs are mentioned, but that's what small businesses are overwhelmingly sharing as their main concern right now. If the Office of Advocacy won't advocate for small businesses regarding tariffs, who else in our federal government will? Where can small businesses share their concerns? The Office of Advocacy is meant to advocate for small businesses, period. Assertions about their limitations are a fabrication of this administration and a byproduct of Project 2025. If you truly believe that advocacy cannot advocate against policies like tariffs that negatively impact small businesses, then I am open to working with you to expand the mandate to ensure small businesses have a voice in government that advances their views and concerns before Congress, the White House, across federal agencies, and the courts as appropriate. The unfortunate thing about this hotline is that we have not had anyone from the Office of Advocacy come to publicly testify before this committee, much less share what small businesses have raised so far. So my amendment would require more transparency from the advocacy through the information it needs to report to Congress. My amendment would do this by ensuring advocacy provides Congress information on all the government actions small businesses are raising, the recommendations for the actions to minimize those burdens, a summary of actions taken by advocacy, and the type of entity that is making those submissions. We all want to unleash the innovations and level the playing field for our small businesses. I hope my colleagues across the aisle will join me in supporting my amendment to ensure that our small businesses truly have their voices heard throughout the federal government, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Is there further debate on the amendment? Sure. Mr. Weed, you're recognized.
I noticed you even want to change the name of our bill from Dump Red Tape Act to Cut the Burden, Keep the Benefits. Translation, keep the red tape. But here's the thing. Small businesses don't benefit from more bureaucracy. They benefit when we actually cut the red tape holding them back, which is exactly what my bill does. This amendment tries to capture all federal actions, including presidential actions, but that's far beyond the scope of the SBA's statutory mission. The SBA's Office of Advocacy was created to be the voice of small businesses in the regulatory process, not a catch-all for every executive or presidential action. If you expand the scope of the red tape hotline, you will drown out legitimate small business concerns in a sea of unrelated political disputes. Ironically, this amendment adds layers of bureaucracy by requiring SBA to track and report on presidential action, something outside its expertise. That means more paperwork, more delays, and fewer resources devoted to actually helping small businesses. Our bill is about streamlining, not expanding government paperwork. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this amendment.
Gentleman yields back. Is there any further debate on the amendment? Okay. The ranking member?
Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to yield some time to my colleague.
And Ms. McIver, you're recognized.
Thank you, Ms. McIver, for yielding me my time, this time. Just to answer back, to my colleague over there, this bill has no way of expanding red tape at all. It actually simply, I think, helps make your bill better by requiring the Small Business Association, the Office of Advocacy, to actually come to us and report and share what they are hearing from these small businesses, which only helps us be more impactful in helping support their small businesses. Really, that is simply all that we're asking, and we are asking that they, kind of broaden their scope as to what, the small businesses can report, right? Whether it's tariffs, healthcare, other issues, collecting this information and then reporting what this information is, what are they gathering, and bringing that to us. That in no way increases the amount of red tape or anything that we're asking for. We're just asking them to report on what is being reported to them and sharing that information with us, which helps us better help the small businesses. And with that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Is there any further debate on the amendment? Okay, seeing none, the ranking member is now recognized to speak on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I lend my support to the amendment being offered by my colleague, Mr. Cisneros. The amendment will make a number of improvements to the underlying bill. First, it strengthens the legislative text by refining the definitions and scope to better align with advocacy's role and the requirements set forth in the Regulatory Flexibility Act. The gentleman said that this amendment is out of the scope of advocacy. That is not true. So let me read the statute. The Office of Advocacy should also perform the following duties on a continuing basis: serve as a local point for the receipt of complaints, criticism, and suggestions concerning the policies and activities of the administration, including the current administration, and any other federal agency which affects small businesses. Second, the amendment allows small entities to weigh in on executive orders and other actions being taken by the administration, and more importantly, requires advocacy to report on the actions taken. This provision is particularly critical now, as the Trump tariffs are generating widespread confusion and uncertainty and inflicting onerous burden on small businesses. You don't want to talk about tariffs and the impact that it's having on small businesses. You want to talk about regulations. But when you go and walk down the street and talk to small businesses, small farmers, they are all raising the issue of the impact of tariffs in their businesses. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, the Office of Advocacy has been eerily silent on this topic, as well as this committee. Finally, the amendment will strengthen the reporting requirements and rename the bill to the Cut the Burden, Keep the Benefits Act. Advocacy will be required to report on the benefits of the rules, which must always outweigh the costs. Mr. Cisneros is offering a common sense amendment. I urge all my colleagues to support this amendment.
Gentlelady yields back. I now recognize myself to speak on the amendment. After only 50 days of opening the hotline earlier this year, the SBA advocacy received 96 red tape hotline inquiries from small businesses across the country. Small businesses have been taking advantage of the hotline, and Congress needs to ensure stability by codifying the hotline. We need to focus on how we can provide Main Street with the best avenues to reach regulatory relief, and that is through the original amendment and the nature of a substitute provided by Representative Weed. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this legislation. Vote no on the amendment on this legislation.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you said just now that there has been 96 submissions. Since our side has not been given the opportunity to look at those submissions, have you seen those submissions? Are they related to regulation?
We can, I mean, we can find out. I have not seen them, no. Okay?
I rest my case.
All right. The question now occurs on the amendment offered by Representative Cisneros. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it.
Mr.
amendment-
Chairman, I ask for a recorded vote.
Recorded vote has been requested. And roll call vote is ordered. So further proceedings on the amendment are postponed.